And that little top part looks like a heart on your lip. Just gonna get it in there.
Hello, fellow retards. Today I'm going to be telling you why I'm tired of fat people's shit. Hence the title of the video, Fat Fatigue. So yesterday, I started cooking myself a burger, okay? And I was kind of tired and didn't want to. And this person who will go unnamed could kind of tell. So they offered to cook the burger for me. And I was like, alright. Thanks, I appreciate it. I'm going to be in the other room. Let me know when it's done. Alright, so I go in the other room. I come back sometime later. And this person had added an extra burger. Had cooked 2 burgers. And ate both of them. You can't offer to cook for someone and then eat all of the food that you offer to cook for them. And these weren't thin burgers either. These were thick, fat, juicy burgers, okay? And this person ate both burgers. And it's like, if you're overweight, you shouldn't be eating 2 burgers in one sitting. But what's more egregious is that you lied to me to get to my burger. You offered to do me a favor by cooking my burger for me, and then you stole my fucking burger. You ever see one of those fat activists online who claims that their body somehow violates the first law of thermodynamics, and somehow they're eating a perfect diet, yet they're 500 pounds overweight? These type of people exist, I'm not making this up, and I'll play a clip right now of a guy saying that he has no choice but to be fat.
Obviously, being fat is not a fucking choice. The amount of corn sweeteners in things that do not need them in the United States is unreal. Did you know there's high fructose corn syrup in things like chips, crackers, bread?
You do realize that you can just read the labels and not eat any of that shit? I get that shopping for healthy food can be hard sometimes, but at the end of the day, you can still get a pound of rice for $1 and a pound of beans for $1. And if you're really good at shopping, you could even get some vegetables at pretty cheap. You could get like a bag of broccoli for $4 and the aforementioned beans and rice for like $2. So that's a grand total of $6 for a healthy meal. And let's say you get a pound of ground beef for like $5. That's like $11. Okay, you're spending more at the fast food places that are making you fat. If you can't afford fucking $6 to $11 for a meal, then you just need to budget better. And depending on how fat you are, you can definitely afford that because you spend more than that on a daily basis to stay fat. And even if you somehow don't have any fucking access to healthy food in a first world country, if some fucking genie has placed a curse on you to make it where you can't eat healthy food, and you're fucking 500 pounds, then just eat less of the shitty food you're already consuming. If this genie has cursed you to eat nothing but Arby's for the rest of your life, then just order less fucking Arby's, dude. Even if you're consuming processed crap, if you eat less of it, then you'll save money, so there's no fucking way you can't do it. But again, eating a decently healthy diet that doesn't make you fucking 400 pounds isn't as hard as people think. This is something that pisses me off a lot, where somebody has an issue that they could solve with relative ease, and they just fucking refuse to because they don't want to admit they're wrong. And I get that a lot of people do that, that's just kind of human nature, but with this fucking fatness thing, it just pisses me off especially because there's so many people doing it. This is almost exclusively fat women who do this. In my entire life, I've never seen a man who's chopped because he's fat try this strategy. I mean, if he did, he would probably get reported to HR. But usually this is how the chopped fat woman dating strategy works. If men aren't finding her fat rolls attractive, she'll just flip out and say they're all bigots. These types of women also try and redefine words like curvy or thick to apply to themselves. And I've never actually used a dating app, but I imagine that if I did and I said something like, I like thick women, there would be a bunch of fucking whales on there saying, oh, I'm a thick woman. No, you're not. You're fucking chopped. They think just by redefining a word, they're gonna like change the reality of the situation. It's just pure cope. If you reject a fat activist type and say, yeah, I don't really find you attractive, even if you say it in the most nice way possible, she's still gonna flip the fuck out. And this is a tendency in most women when they get rejected, is that they'll flip out, especially if they're chopped. And oftentimes, if a woman's coping because she got rejected or something, she'll just say, well, it's his loss. It's like, no, he just doesn't want to clap your cheeks. It's not that deep. Why the fuck are you reimagining this random guy who just doesn't want to fuck you as some sort of supervillain? Like, chill out. And no fat activist type girl has done this to me personally, but I did have this experience where this girl who's kind of chopped was flirting with me, at one point squeezed my bicep. I told her to not do that pretty politely, might I add, and then she was kind of passive aggressive about it afterwards. And that was pretty fucking weird too, because I'm not even muscular. But anyway, just a quick public service announcement. If you like somebody, but they aren't turned on by you, then just chill the fuck out, okay? Like, I get it, rejection sucks titty sauce, but this person isn't married to you, so they don't really owe you any sort of romantic affection. There's no reason to be angry if this person hasn't made any commitments to you and they're not turned on by you. You don't need to be passive-aggressive or do the whole, I'll show him, he's missing out. Like, why the fuck would you be angry if somebody doesn't want to date you because they don't find you physically attractive? Like, what do you expect them to do? Do you expect them to stare at conventionally attractive women while they tase themselves in the cock? Do you want this guy to be locked in federal prison with a cellmate nicknamed Bubba for 3 years, so that way once he gets out of jail, he finds you physically attractive by comparison? And I get that there's a lot of chopped men who handle rejection terribly too, but I'm just saying I think this is a little more prevalent among women, especially like the fat activist types. And that's what I'm mostly referring to since this video is about fat fatigue. But in conclusion, if you're a fat woman and you want men to find you physically attractive, then stop being fat. And that's not even mean or offensive. That's just fucking true. Like, the average dude doesn't find morbidly obese women physically attractive. The fat acceptance movement so thoroughly pisses me off because everybody on the fat acceptance side knows that we're right but just fucking refuses to acknowledge it. Fat acceptance activists will unironically tell you that morbid obesity is healthy while hooked up to a fucking oxygen tank at 22 years of age because of their fucking morbid obesity. They know objectively that being fat isn't healthy or attractive, but they'll just pretend like it is even though they know it isn't because they're trying to gaslight people into believing that. And what they'll also do is they'll try and gaslight and manipulate people and try and make them feel bad so that way they tell them, oh, you're so beautiful, but at 500 pounds, you're just not. We shouldn't lie to people to make them feel better. If you're like 5'1" and 600 pounds, if you don't change your lifestyle, you're going to fucking die young. It isn't loving to tell somebody who's fucking killing themselves in slow motion via obesity to keep doing it. That's actually the opposite. A lot of these fat acceptance activists have actually died with complications directly linked to their unhealthy body weights. Everybody who cheered for the fat acceptance activists is partially responsible for this, because what this is like if a man is standing at the edge of a bridge about to jump and you tell him to do a fucking backflip. We as a society should just simply not encourage self-destructive, suicidal behavior. We definitely should stigmatize stupid, unhealthy behavior that kills people. And if it hurts their feelings, then I don't really care. Because guess what? When you place your hand on a hot stove, you feel pain because you're supposed to take your hand off the fucking stove. Whether you're telling somebody to get their hand off the fucking stove or out of the Lay's potato chip bag, Either way, you're doing them a favor. And who gives a shit if it hurts their feelings? If you're doing something that's objectively going to fucking kill you, then it only makes sense to tell you to stop. But you know what? Maybe I'm just a disgusting, hateful bigot who's wrong about everything. In that case, you know what I think? We need to have a lot of fat acceptance marches, okay? We need a lot of fat acceptance marching. Because then maybe by the time they're done, it'll all be a moot point. And to conclude this video, I'd just like to say I don't think all fat people are bad. I'm just saying the fat acceptance movement is awful. But anyway, please like, subscribe, and share this with your friends so I can share my opinions with other retards on the internet. Thank you for watching, and bye.